Good morning, students. In the last video, we have seen about the chapter 3 computer organizations. So, in that video, we have learnt about the following concepts. First one, the organization of computer components and their interconnections. Second, the basics of microprocessor and how the microprocessor is connected to the computer with their characteristics like clock speed, instruction set, and word size. Third one, the importance of memory devices in a computer and the types of memory devices like random access memory, read only memory, cache memory, and the differentiation among them. And the fourth one, secondary devices and its usage. And the last part, we have seen about the ports and interfaces, how the external devices are connected to the computer with the help of the ports and the interfaces. So all these things we have covered in the third chapter, computer organization. So in this video, we are going to start with the next chapter, that is chapter 4, theoretical concepts of operating system. These are the discussion points which we are going to discuss in this first part of chapter 4. First, introduction to software. So what is a software? What are the types of software available? Second one, introduction to operating system. So what is an operating system? Under which software the operating system comes? How the operating system works? Third one is need and uses of operating system. So how the operating system plays a major role between the user and the computer. So in which all the way the operating system is useful for the user. Types of operating system. So what are all the types of operating system available? And last one is key features of the operating system. What are the main features of the operating system available? So in this video, all these discussion points we are going to discuss one by one. First, introduction to software. So a software is a set of instructions that perform a specific task. So a predefined set of instruction will be already programmed for performing a certain functions. So this software will mainly interact with the hardware to generate a desired output. For example, assume that you have bought a printer. So along with the printer, you will be having a printer software CD. So which you will be installing in the computer. Only with the help of that software, printer software, you can able to communicate with that printer. So without the software, you cannot able to communicate to the printer, where printer is a hardware. Software is divided into two types. So application software and system software. So first, application software is a set of programs which is used to perform a specific task. For example, MS Word, Microsoft Word. It is an application software to create the text document. And VLC media player. So it is used to play audio files, video files, all the media files it is used to play. So all these comes under the application software. So next is system software. System software is a type of computer program. It is mainly designed to run the computer's hardware and the application programs. So all the computer's hardware that are connected peripheral devices, all these will run based on the system software. So for example, operating system. So operating system is a system software. The next topic is introduction to operating system. So an operating system comes under the system software. So it mainly acts as an interface between the user and the computer. So it fills the gap between the user and the computer. So that's why we call it as an interface. So it controls the input, output, and other peripheral devices like the disk drivers and printers and all the electronic gadgets which we connect to the computer. All these things will be controlled by the operating system. So there are various functions of an operating system available, like file management, memory management, process management, and device management. All these things we will discuss in the key features of an operating system topic. Without an operating system, a computer cannot communicate effectively, and also it cannot able to effectively manage all the resources that are connected. So when a computer is switched on, the operating system is loaded into the main memory. Initially, the operating system will be in the hard disk. Once the computer is switched on, it transfers from the hard disk to the main memory, that is the RAM. So a user cannot directly communicate with the computer. So for that, he needs some medium, he needs some interface. So like that, operating system plays a major role as an interface between the user and the computer. Some of the popular operating systems that we use in the computers are the Windows, Unix, and Linux. And for mobile devices, we know that the most commonly used mobile OS are Android and iOS. So this is all about the introduction to operating system. The next topic is need and uses of an operating system. So operating system has become more essential to just enable the users to design any application. The user doesn't require the knowledge of the computer internal structure. So only thing he need then operating system to design an application. So operating system manages all the software and hardware that are installed in the computer. And most of the time, there are many different computer programs running simultaneously, which utilizes the computer's CPU, memory, and storage simultaneously. The need of an operating system is, we told that it is an interface between the user and the computer. So you can able to see the diagram. So an operating system plays interface between the application software and the hardware and the user. So operating system works as an translator, so which translates the user requests into a machine language, that is 0 and 1s, process it, and then it send back to the operating system. Operating system converts the processed information into a user readable form. So all these things are done only with the help of the operating system. The next one is the uses of operating system. So there are so many uses are there. So let us see what are all the uses of operating system. First thing, to ensure the computer can be used to do exactly what the user wants. It must ensure what the user wants must is perfectly done or not. And easy interaction between the user and computers. So it must ensure the easy interaction. There should not be any interruption or any very difficulties in using the computers by the user. And starting computer operation automatically when the power is turned on. And it controls the all the input and output devices and all the peripheral devices, all the electronic gadgets which are connected. And utilization of the main memory, that is the RAM. It must be able to manage the utilization, how the main memory, how the RAM is utilized. So how to optimize the utilization, all these things must be taken care by the operating system. And last one, mainly think, providing security to the user program. So operating system must give full secure to the user program. So these are all the thing about the need and uses of operating system. Next one is the types of operating system. So the operating system are mainly classified based on the processing capacity. We can say it as a processing level. Based on the processing level, the operating systems are classified. So likewise, the operating system are classified into two types: single user operating system and multi-user operating system. So single user operating system means allows only one user to perform a task in a time. So that is called as a single user or a single task operating system. So for a user, a task is a function that is such as printing a document, writing a file into a disk, editing a file or copying a file, like that, downloading a file. All these are called a task. Whereas in the Microsoft DOS operating system, it is an example for a single user or a single task operating system. In Microsoft DOS, a single user can able to access a process at a time. That is an example for a single user operating system. Next one is a multi-user operating system. So it is used in mostly computers and laptops, which allows same data and applications can be accessed by multiple users at the same time. So and multiple users can access the same data at the same time with the help of the server or any connectivities. With the help of the connectivities, the multiple users can access the same data. The user can also communicate with each other. So example for multi-user are Windows, Linux, Unix. All these comes under the multi-user operating system. The next one is the key features of an operating system. So what are all the main functionalities of the operating system? So first main thing is user interface. So an operating system must be able to make the user more convenient while interacting with the computer. Next one is the memory management. It must be able to manage the memory effectively to optimize the utilization of the RAM and the secondary storages, all these things. Process management. It must be able to handle the process, the various process without any interruption. So based on some priority level or based on some algorithms. Next one is a security management. There are various levels of security based on the accessing methods. Based on the accessing methods of the data, there are various levels of securities available. And fault tolerance. An operating system must tolerate what all the mistakes done by the user, what all the mistakes error done by the user. An operating system must tolerate and how to rectify the error. It must be able to help the user to rectify the error easily. File management. The files which are stored in the computer must be managed properly under each and every section, so that for retrieving the file it will be very easy. Next is multiprocessing. Multiprocessing, you know that a multiple process can run at a time. So all these things must be done without any interruption. So multiprocessing must be handled with a keen attention of the operating system. Next one is a time sharing. Time sharing is nothing but sharing the processing time, sharing the CPU's time to various process for providing a effective output within a short period of time. Next one is distributed operating system. So how the operating system are shared, how the files are shared. So all these things comes under the key features of the operating system. So in this video, let us discuss the first two, that is the user interface and the memory management, one by one. First one is the user interface. So user interface is one of the most significant and important feature in an operating system, because it is the only way where the user can make interaction with the computer easily. So if the computer interface, that is the user interface, is not user friendly, means the user will automatically slowly reduces the computer usage. So to avoid these, the graphical user interface based operating system developed. So that is the GUI based operating system. So GUI is nothing but it is a window based system. So where the applications are shown in an image format, icon format. So with the help of the pointing device, you can easily access the application. So and also it vibrant colors, attractive colors makes the user to work easily. Even for the beginners, they have used an option called help, where the user can get a guidance how to use the application. So how to track the application, how to easily navigate the application within the application. Initially, the Linux system uses the character based OS. That is, they have to type a command to access an application. So later, nowadays, even the Linux computers, Linux based OS comes under the GUI based operating system. So while designing the user interface of an application, some of the points to be considered. Let us see what are all the points to be considered while designing an user interface of an application. First one, the user interface must make the user to retain for a longer time. For example, you are downloading an application from the Play Store for your mobile. You are started opening it and using it. So you are trying to search for an option and you can't able to find the option easily. Each and every time you need to search for an option. So it makes you get irritated. Automatically you uninstall the application. You never use the application. So you search for an alternative. The same thing, the user interface must make the user to feel more convenient while using the application. It doesn't make the user to get irritated while using the application. It makes the user to retain for a more time, for a longer time. Next one is the user interface must satisfy the customer needs based on their needs. So even you can able to see the reviews. Some of the user will just give suggestion. So this option can be like this. So the developer will make a change in the application and will give an update for the application. Likewise, the user interface must satisfy the customer based on their needs. And next one, third one is the user interface must save the user's precious time. So for searching an option, the user cannot waste his time. Once he get into the application means he must do all his work and complete it as soon as possible. So like that, the user interface must be designed. Like creating the graphical elements like menus, windows, and the tabs, icons, all these things. Mostly the main advantage is reduce the typing work for the user. The user interface must reduce the typing work. So it is an added advantage of the operating system. So the ultimate aim of any product or any application is to satisfy the customer. So that is the main aim of the user interface. And the user interface must reduce the number of errors committed by the user. Say for example, a user mistakenly selected an menu or an option. The user interface must intimate an error message. So which makes the user to rectify the error easily. So that is also the main aim of the user interface. So this is all about the first key feature of an operating system, that is the user interface. The next one is the memory management. So memory management is a process of controlling and coordinating the computer's main memory. So that is the RAM. Once the RAM is optimized means the computer can perform faster. So that is the main aim of the memory management, to control the RAM. And also it assigns the memory space for the various running programs, because it cannot allocate the full space for a single program. So based on the usage of the processor, it allocates some spaces to the various running programs. Then only it can able to optimize the overall computer performance. Then only the computer will work faster. So the memory management also involves in the allocation of specific memory to the individual program based on the user demand. Say for example, if you are running 2 or more applications simultaneously, based on your usage, based on the usage time, the computer allocates the space for the particular application, particular process. And next one is at the application level. The application level, the memory management ensures that the availability of the adequate memory for each running programs at all the times. Say for example, you are going to install an application. So the application needs certain memory. First, the memory management checks whether the required memory is available in the existing or not. Then only it allows you to install. Otherwise, it displays an error message. So it just starts installing, it accepts for installation. You have installed the application. So while running the application, some memory space is needed by the application. Again, it's checked. Once the available required memory is available means the application will start running. If the required memory is not available in the RAM, in the main memory means it will display an error message or the computer automatically gets restarts. So that is the reason if you are using an high-end application, if you are, once you started the application, it will get started. Automatically the system get restart. So this is the reason, because the required memory to run an application is not available in the RAM. So that's why the operating system terminates the application by restarting the computer. Next, the objective of the memory management process is to improve both the utilization of the CPU and also the speed of the computer's response. It must respond fastly. It should not take more time. Say for example, if you are running multiple application, and if you are in the last application, if you are asking for if you are requesting for any response, the computer will take more time because of utilization of the CPU or the memory more by the other applications. So you can able to see computer not responding. So like that it shows an error message. So that is the reason. For these reasons, the computer must keep several programs in main memory that associates with the different memory management schemes. So once the RAM size is more means it can able to hold more application. Whereas once the RAM size is less means it can't able to hold more application. The operating system is responsible for certain activities which are related to the memory management. So the first one is keeping track of the which portion of the memory is currently is used and which application is using it. So all these things is tracked by the operating system. And next one is it determines the which process and data are moving in and out of the memory. So various process and data will be moving in and out. It determines which process and data are moving in and out of the memory. And last one is allocation and deallocation. So allocating a certain space for a specific application in the main memory and also removing the memory space for the unused application. So all these things are done by the operating system. So this is all about the memory management feature in an operating system. In the next video, we will discuss about the remaining features of the operating system. So as far as we have discussed about what is a software and what are all the types of software available, and what is an operating system, under which software it comes, and how the operating system works, and what is the need for an operating system, uses of an operating system, what are all the types of operating system available, and we have seen the two key features, that is the user interface and the memory management in this part. Thank you, students.